So everybody can begin, if you haven't already, to get comfortable in your setup. And many of you know I sometimes make a distinction between a day for a strong seat and a day for a comfortable seat. That really mostly comes from my practice. For most of my practice, it doesn't involve a lot of intentional cultivation of like loving kindness or other warm, fuzzy feelings, which are so important to practice. And it's definitely a place that I want to, yeah, make sure that I stay strong in my own practice. Um, but I think a lot of I mostly am practicing in the Zen tradition, which doesn't do a lot of that intentionally. And so when I started doing my teacher training, I kind of mentioned to my mentor that sometimes when I was either guiding a practice in loving kindness or just listening to a guided loving kindness practice, that I felt like a little stiff. I didn't feel quite so warm and fuzzy the way that you would hope. You don't always need to feel that way during loving kindness. That's part of the practice too. But uh, it's nice to feel that warm fuzziness, and that is a direction that we might be headed. And so I mentioned this to him, and he's like, "Well, of course, you are sitting stiff. You're sitting in this your special Zen posture and very upright." And so he was like, "Why don't you try like, putting a blanket on yourself and sitting on the couch and doing loving kindness?" And yeah, I never looked back. It worked. So the outward form definitely impacts the inward experience. And so that's why I say, okay, today is a comfortable seat kind of day. So that tipped my hand. Today is a day of warmth and gratitude, perhaps some loving kindness. We'll get there. In the spirit of the holiday of light, Hanukkah holiday, and of generosity, which I feel like is the principal characteristic of the Christmas holiday, at least as we know it now, I find very compelling, this giving and receiving. And this giving and receiving is very closely associated, at least in the Buddhist tradition, with gratitude in both directions. And so one of the greatest things that we can both give and receive is gratitude. So that's what we're practicing today. So after this long monologue, you're likely already in a comfortable spot. You can let your eyes come to rest if they're not already. And notice whatever quality you would like to notice about the heart. Perhaps said more clearly, just notice the experience of the heart. Your physical, anatomical heart. Just be there for a moment. And maybe you don't instantly feel anything exactly right where you think your heart is. You can just notice the experience of the general space around where you think your heart is, your chest, your upper chest. The same area, beginning to notice the rise and fall of the breath. As you pay attention still to the qualities of this area of the body, heart. Distractions arise, what we might dub as distractions, whether they're thoughts or some external stimulus that is really pulling our attention, or some part of our body that's really pulling our attention that's not this part. As that happens, continue to just notice that they are not happening here in the heart. And even though they're happening, they can continue to happen. And you can continue to be mostly with what's happening in the heart. Living in the heart and letting everything else live. Now, still living with this central core of your experience in the heart. Breath rising and falling. Notice first just one thing, later more things that feels pleasant, that feels good in your experience right now. As you find just this one thing, just settling on one thing for now, that's pleasant about your experience right now. Imagining you can just breathe this into your heart and welcome it. Really reveling in whatever this good, comfortable thing is. Not discounting any other things, but we're just focusing on this one good, comfortable thing. Notice the feeling that begins to emerge as you just welcome this wonderful thing into your experience and let it circulate through your body, pumped by the heart. Perhaps it's something about your temperature, or perhaps it's a quiet environment if you're in one, or perhaps it's an environment with voices belonging to people you love. Perhaps even it's a pleasant thought that you're having. Just really getting close to this pleasant experience. Could be such a small thing. Inhaling, welcoming it into the body. Letting some good feelings swell, move through the body. And exhaling, letting it settle through the body. If you feel in some way uncomfortable right now, completely fine, completely normal. Feel free to tend to that as you please. One way is just putting your attention there with warmth, with a pleasant nature to what's uncomfortable. And listening to what kind of care it needs, perhaps physical discomfort you might want to shift intentionally in your seat. Perhaps an uncomfortable thought, you might just allow it to be heard by your heart. Let's turn our mind to one person who we find it very easy to appreciate. A person we love, perhaps, or a person we admire. Imagining this person, seeing their face as best you can. And just one quality about this one person that you love. There's one quality that you love, admire, appreciate. One redeemable quality. It could be a sense of humor, it could be honesty, it could be strength, it could be a million things. Whatever it is, breathing it in as you imagine this person's face. Or perhaps imagine this quality in action through this person. Again, letting the breath come straight to the heart. Letting this quality reach the heart and be savored by our own heart. And let that savoring, that appreciation pump with each beat through the body. Again, if you're uncomfortable, returning to just listening with a tender heart briefly to what makes you uncomfortable. And as you're ready, coming back to this one quality of this one special person. Breathing in, breathing out. Stoking this flame of appreciation. Let this feeling really make an imprint on you as best you can, allowing it to be deeply felt. And taking this same feeling to another person, perhaps a person who you respect and appreciate, but don't have such a close relationship with. Could be a colleague or a friend of a friend, somebody who you feel slightly pleasant about, but don't have such strong feelings. And perhaps you don't even know this person well enough to know one quality about them that makes you feel so much admiration and appreciation. In this case, you can just imagine. Or perhaps you know them well enough to be able to find something. Really appreciate how thoughtful this person is, how hardworking this person is. Really appreciate what they're trying to do in their life. Or I appreciate the way that they are a friend, or the way that they care to people, for people they love. Just one quality about this one person. Breathing it in to the heart, letting the heart circulate it throughout the body. Noticing how it feels to just appreciate. Yeah, just noticing the feeling. Perhaps there's not such a strong feeling. It's completely fine to taking a moment to notice what you're feeling in that case. And let that also circulate through your heart. Next, let's imagine a person we don't really have strong feelings about. A person we barely know at all. Perhaps we just encountered them in passing somewhere. A person we don't feel positively or negatively towards. For such a person, it might be difficult to know what quality to pick. You could just pick the quality of their humanity, if that's the case. Imagining such a person, one specific person, and just admiring and appreciating with this same kind of appreciation you've worked with for the last two people. The fact that this person is living a human experience. And the strength and courage that that takes. Breathing this in, breathing it down. How does it feel to just admire somebody's humanity, the strength and courage of their humanity? See the light in them. Lastly, knowing the imprint of these last three people. Letting your mind settle on one person who you do care about, but who's been challenging for you recently. Person you care about who has been challenging. Notice any quivering of the heart around this imagination of this person. And all you need to do is find one quality, one single quality of this person that you can admire, appreciate, be grateful for. It doesn't discount any difficulties. You can let those continue to be and just be on the side for now. Taking this one quality of this person who you care about but is a little difficult right now. Just breathing this one quality in and out. Nowhere to go, nowhere to get to or feel differently. Just how does it feel to breathe in and out this one quality you appreciate of this person? Letting that feeling be known by the body from head to toe, from your core to your skin. letting go of image of this person. And just naturally being with how you're already feeling. Feeling from head to toe. Core to skin. Here's the advice of one historical sage, similar to pretty much all historical sages who have said this in one way or another. Radiate boundless love towards the entire world, above, below, and across, unhindered, without ill will, without enmity. As you feel ready, you can savor a few more moments of this practice. You can begin to come back in your own way, on your own time, over the course of a few breaths, slowly. As you feel ready, you can come back visually also. I'll leave us maybe with a starting prompt, although all discussion is always welcomed. The starting prompt of how about just what you noticed during the practice? And as always, if you're catching up later, you could just journal about this too. What stood out to you?